Welcome to another week of Fantasy Football Dojo, where we will be more wrong than right. I'm Mike Krause.
I'm Mark Krause.
I'm Kirk Williams.
And hello.
Hello, governor.
There's a game being played
There's a
in
game
London.
being played right now in London town.
Did you guys see the video of them attempting British accents?
No.
Look at it's on NFL.com. Look it up. They doing the Falcons.
Please
and the
tell me
Lions.
Shannon Sharp tried it.
No, Matt Ryan did.
Oh, okay.
Matt Ryan did. It's pretty good.
Oh, that's great.
It's pretty good.
He kind of looks British, Matt Ryan. Real pale, big forehead.
And we're off the air in London.
But no, yeah, okay, so let's get right into that game, since rarely
Since it's going on
there's
right
a game
now.
happening during
And we
this.
already look dumb. We're setting world records for earliest looking dumb in
the
fantasy
thing
football.
is, we can't look dumb because we didn't make any projections
Nope.
for this week.
That's true. Good point.
This was just bonus. If we hit on these early, then it's great because we could have talked about how great we were. But we're not. So a lot of us started Detroit's defense because Atlanta's been pretty awful. They already dropped 24 on Detroit, right? Or 21.
21-3.
So that didn't work out. And what was your fail?
I have Joik Bell
There you
starting
go.
in 2 leagues because why wouldn't you? Because Reggie Bush is out and Atlanta's defense is a sieve unless they're in Europe apparently. So that's great. And Detroit's currently pooping themselves.
Well, the defensive ranks are in metric there.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Good. All right. So I got 27 yards, which translates to how many meters?
About 23.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. I'm even worse off.
Ish.
All right. Sweet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Theo Riddick is jamming me up, apparently.
I mean,
because
Atlanta's just got a lot of petrol in their tank today.
apparently. Oh, that's awful. Okay. So, we're going to move past that game because we don't
It's a
even know how
mess.
it's gonna
If you
end at
started
this
Bear
point.
Pasco, please write to us or let us know.
Oh, yeah. You get automatic
If you
cred.
knew who Bear Pasco was, please write to us and let us know.
Yeah, you've got touchdowns from Pasco and Devontae Freeman and Steven Jackson. So one of the 3 is somebody that could possibly be in a fantasy lineup at this point.
Right, but Steven Jackson was one of the worst matchups of the week because
Because
Detroit's
Detroit has
D
the
is-
number 1
right.
rushing defense in the league. So nobody
Cool.
knows anything. That's comforting. I guess everything's upside down when you're across the pond.
Mm-hmm.
So
I thought that was Australia. I think it was upset.
it's a bigger pond. Well, no, the toilets run backwards there, but football's still the same except it's rugby.
Does that mean our fantasy lineups run backwards? Because they're pretty much a toilet right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at this point, we're gonna need some help from the other games. Speaking of which, you guys got
Segue.
you got any news and notes or anything, or should we go right into the games here?
I mean, you're obviously Calvin Johnson's out.
Yep, Calvin Johnson's
if
out.
you
Reggie
had
Bush
him
is
in your
out.
lineup, which by the way, producer, did you have Calvin
No, he
Johnson
did.
in your
I
lineup?
checked. I personally checked before we got here.
Because usually we have to tell you to pull him out.
No, but he is starting Ruben Randall, who's on a bye this week.
Yeah.
well,
you
you have time to pull him
might,
out.
you might want to work on that.
All right, this just in: Ruben Randall's on bye. So if all you guys out
In case
there,
you didn't know, all of the New York Giants are on bye this
don't
week.
play any of the
don't play any of them. But yeah, that's. I mean, other than that, AJ Green was. I mean, has he officially been ruled out?
He's inactive.
He's
Okay, I was gonna
inactive.
say he was doubtful yesterday. So
And Owen Daniels.
Owen Daniels, yeah, that was really kind of weird.
He had it scoped.
Getting a little
Basically
scope,
Fluid drainage.
and he'll be out probably through the bye week, which is 2 more weeks from now.
Yeah, they'll
So-
probably hold him out next week. And
Yeah.
then,
I mean, we'll get to it during that game, but there's a potential deep sleeper there
who I already grabbed.
to fill in. Yeah.
We'll get there.
But no, other than that, I don't think there's any super breaking news in the football world. It's been pretty. I mean, the Thursday night game was interesting. Again, we never really get to talk about the Thursday night
Thursday
game.
night game went exactly like everybody thaught it would, except for the fact that Emmanuel Sanders scored
Caught
3
all of the
touchdowns. But I mean, as far
touchdowns,
as like the game itself,
Yeah, I
you
saw
know.
all the experts were trying to give San Diego way too much credit during the pregame. It was everyone picked Denver to win.
Golden Tate, 59-yard TD catch.
Oh, there you go.
Well,
That helps me out.
Not
a
a
lot.
touchdown, just catch.
No, TD catch.
Oh, TD, yep.
nifty.
Nice.
TDs mean touchdowns, Mike.
Oh, that's right.
Maybe that's why we're so bad at this.
Oh, man. Thought it meant total downs. No, the Denver, they were giving San Diego way too much credit on the air, and everyone was like, oh, 28-24 or 27-21. I think the highest point total was 31. I'm like, they're going to beat 31 points.
Yeah.
I mean, San Diego's not a bad team by any means, but it was at home. You're just not stopping them. But yeah, it was a little disappointing. I mean, for anyone that started Julius Thomas, sad
Yeah.
day.
Julius
That was-
Thomas is on a 2-game streak
Yep.
of 2 fantasy points apiece. It's
A little bit of a skid there.
unusual.
I don't think that'll last. But when you start the season with, like 8 touchdowns in the first 5 games, you're going to cool off a little bit. But I think he'll come back up. But yeah, if you had Sanders, wow. I mean,
You're
that was
ahead of the game.
an
In
impressive
our league, it was
performance.
just shy of a 40-point game.
Yeah.
He had more
And
points than Peyton Manning.
speaking on that real quick, we're looking at two opposite ends of the spectrum there. If you have Julius Thomas, are you holding tight with him, or are you trying to shop him, but you're not going to get good value?
You can't shop him now because he's going to be undervalued
Right.
for his past 2 games. But
And the same thing with Sanders. If you have two other decent wideouts, and a lot of times Sanders was a flex in most leagues,
yeah,
do you go ahead and sell really high on him and get a boatload, or do you just ride this guy out? Do you think? Because I mean,
it depends on what you need.
he only had one touchdown coming into this week.
If you've got holes in your lineup and you need to fill them, then that's probably the way to go.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's going to necessarily be a bad option.
No, because the games that he hasn't had touchdowns, he still had between 70 and
Right.
100 yards and 5 to 8 catches.
It's just like
so,
any other trade.
you
If you
know.
can get some sucker to give you huge value for him, then make it happen.
Right.
I mean, there's no reason to think he can't be productive from here, especially since Wes Welker hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would even have Welker in my lineup.
I
I think you probably keep him on your roster just to see what happens because it's a huge offense.
we've
but
been continually saying that he's probably not startable unless you absolutely need him. Up to this point, I think the first week we touched on it, he did score a touchdown, but
he's just not getting any targets.
yeah, it's he's going to be a boomer bust guy, and mostly busting. But at this point, one of the big interesting takeaways I had from Thursday night was Brandon Oliver catches a lot of passes and doesn't go anywhere.
Well, Von Miller
I
was
know.
in
He was-
Phillip Rivers' face the
Yeah.
entire time.
But
that was a symptom of them just having to bail. and
he had
throw
7
to the bag.
catches, most of them out of behind the line of
Most of
scrimmage.
them lost yardage.
But that even if Phillip Rivers isn't going to be pressured as hard as he was in that game for the rest of the season, that still looks good if you have Oliver. I mean, Ryan Matthews will be back eventually, but Oliver is a pretty special talent. If he can break one tackle, that's the thing. He was getting tied up, but if you broke a
Denver's
tackle, he
defense
goes
is
for
better
20.
than- Denver's
Easy.
defense is better than everybody thinks. I mean,
Yeah,
they're not a bad defense, especially since the other team's got to try and keep up with their offense. So,
also Phillip Rivers is one of the most fun players to watch.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
so animated.
because he's angry all the time.
Yeah, he can be really happy too.
Yeah.
Like there's just as many Rivers faces as Manning faces.
It's true. It's a good
So-
point.
And then you have Fitzpatrick, who has 1.
Yes.
The guy doesn't laugh. He doesn't smile.
Nope.
Nothing.
Nope,
But
just
it's all,
beard.
it's all hidden behind the beard.
Yeah,
All right, so for today's games, let's start off with the Ravens and Bengals.
let's do that.
Ravens,
Hometown.
Bengals.
All right, so yeah, we touched on Owen Daniels being out a couple weeks. He's been pretty solid after Pitta went down. So in the rotating wheel of tight ends, we have Crockett Gilmore, which is a sweet name.
This guy has potential to be an absolute phenom.
He's kind of a freak. He's not the fastest guy on the field, but he's massive.
6'6", 260, and he runs a sub 540.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's pretty impressive.
his wingspan and all is I mean, definitely a red zone target for sure.
I was reading up on him a little bit. The kid's also got a 30-inch vertical on top of being 6'6".
Yeah.
And 260.
Wow.
There isn't a defender out there who can compete with that.
No, he just has to make sure he can get open, and him and Joe are on the same page. So, I mean, he's worth a flyer. If you were in one league, I was just riding those tight ends, and they keep falling down. So I couldn't really make a trade. I tried to make a trade for Julius Thomas.
Well,
You know,
he's got
and
3
that
catches
didn't
already
happen.
this year. He's got 3 catches for 29 yards, but 2 of which were for first downs.
Yeah.
So Joe's trusting him at least a little bit when
Yeah.
he's throwing to him.
That's a big target. I mean, you can't not.
If he's got halfway decent hands, he's going to be a 6-catch, 80-yard guy every game.
Yeah, and then so yeah, I would say even if you just stash him, if you've got other tight ends that keep getting injured or if they're just not performing well, it'd be interesting to see what he does this week.
I'm hanging on to him as a backup for
Yeah.
Gronk.
Yep. And then let's go into Torrey Smith. So we kept ragging on him for good reason, but he's got 2 weeks back to back now with really good performances.
With at least 1 touchdown.
Yeah, I mean not like 200-yard performances, but he's definitely involved in the offense again. It could just be that defenses are realizing they have to really cover Steve Smith,
But Smith's still having good games as well.
but he's still having good games. So, I mean, Torrey Smith at this point is definitely back into the wide receiver 3 discussion, I'd say.
Yeah.
If he has another
startable.
week with a touchdown, I would definitely make him someone that you should try to sell high on.
If he stays on a hot streak, I would
Yeah.
try to dump him off quick.
I don't think he's that guy that's going to score more often than not.
Not with Steve Smith in the picture.
No. So
He still has 18 catches
Yeah.
compared to Smith's
Oh, I know.
38.
that's what I'm
So,
saying. So that's
I mean-
he's a good target for that. But
Well, he also did drop a guaranteed touchdown last week.
Yeah.
Slant route. I mean, he
I
would
know
have
it was
walked in.
Yeah, it was
and-
pretty atrocious.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's working back in. For anyone that drafted him, maybe a little higher than normal, or even just at his normal spot, wasn't super hot.
I think your big star on the Baltimore offense is Forsett.
Yep, Forsett has looked amazing.
Guy's got 5.8 yards per carry. He's catching balls out of the backfield. He's probably a top 10 running back in the NFL at this point, which is crazy to say.
He's the number 4 or number 5 running back in the league right now. Fantasy-wise, I don't know. But
because he hasn't really gotten as many touchdowns. That's the thing. Bernard Pierce snaked a touchdown from him last week.
Which made me madder in hell because I watched that whole drive, and they rode Forsett for 75 yards, and right at the 2-yard line. Here you go, Pierce.
Right.
You didn't do anything.
Well, they did the same thing to Ronnie Hillman on Thursday night.
Yeah, we didn't even touch on that because it's painful if you had Ronnie Hillman, but...
Gosh darn Ronnie Hillman, who made me look foolish because I have Monte Ball in like 3 leagues, and I didn't go get Ronnie Hillman in any of them because I thought he was just roster filler, but apparently the guy can play.
But I do expect Forsett to have a big game. I mean, surprisingly enough, the Bengals have, the 30th worst run defense?
Their defense is rough, man. They allow 146 yards on the ground per game.
Yeah. So heavy dose of run today. With that being said, do we start the Ravens defense if you've got them? I mean, they obliterated the Falcons last week. Producer says, absolutely, I'm all in.
It depends on who you have, but they don't perform as well on the road.
Yeah, it is true. I mean,
Cincinnati's not as bad as they've shown in the past couple of weeks.
They are committed to the rush, though, like heavily committed to the rush with Dumerville and with Suggs, and that's starting to pay off. Dalton's been known to get sacked.
If you're starting the Baltimore defense, you're hoping for a big play. I mean, they're not going to hold them down to low scores, but you could get some turnovers. Dalton's been known to throw it around a little bit.
I'll tell you what, one of the biggest factors for their defense, even though you've barely heard his name, has been Haloti Ngata, because he's been getting doubled and triple teams this entire season. It's freeing up.
He's a space eater.
And he has 2 interceptions. Still, with all that being said.
And one of which was a diving one-handed pick, which was incredible. But he's just taking up so much space. He's just freeing up everybody.
And
else.
his new Royal Farms chicken commercials are incredible.
His wife's hot.
He has a really hot wife, too.
His wife is hot. That's a compliment. Don't come after me.
Yeah. And then, so on the Cincinnati side, Gio Bernard he just got obliterated last week in that game against the Colts. I'm impressed that he came back out on the field because it looked like he was just broken in. By God.
By God.
As God is my witness. he was broken in half. But no, he's apparently, he's been dealing with some shoulder injuries. He is playing today. I'm a little nervous about starting him in a couple leagues, but if you got him, you got to start him.
You kind of have to, unless you're in a situation where you've picked up all these like hot free agent running backs and you've got no room for him. But I mean, he's got to be a top 15 running back still. The guy gets the ball a lot, and he loses a couple carries to Jeremy Hill every once in a while, but it's not. He's still a big part of their offense.
With AJ Green out, I definitely I keep saying his name, Sanu. I think he's gonna have a nice game.
Did last week, didn't he?
I mean, Jimmy Smith's gonna be on him. Jimmy Smith's had a good year so far, but Sanu he's just a big guy. I mean, he's
slowly becoming a shutdown.
He is.
The Ravens secondary is their weak spot, but the one thing they do know how to do is to focus on one guy.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I'm not saying huge game, but
he's definitely a start.
Yeah.
I mean, I would start him. I can't say he's going to have some huge game, but he's worth starting for sure. He's just going to get a ton of targets.
I'm just not sure who else, on that Bengals offense, as far as pass catching, is going to come through. I mean, you've got... Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's not really much to go around, so...
Say it might be just him and Gio out of the backfield.
Yeah.
Which means Dane Sanzenbacher scores 3 touchdowns today. But anyway.
It's Sanzenbacher.
It's Sanzenbacher. My fault. Next game's Rams-Chiefs. I'm going to... the Rams and I aren't friends anymore because they knocked me out of my suicide pool.
Yes, they did. I remember that.
Now, I'm going to give me a 30-second rant on the Rams.
Okay, let's go.
Here's the situation. So the Rams jump out to a 21-0 lead. Seattle comes back, and you're down to like the last 3 minutes of the game. The team that's ahead by 2 points has the ball, and what happens every single time, kids? They play conservative, they run up the middle, they punt, and they lose. That's what happens, right? Everybody agrees on this?
Not today.
Okay. Not that time, because they ran up a fake punt. Everybody knows this at this point. This is old news. This is just me getting something off my chest.
Benny Cunningham.
Every team in the NFL, this is a league that is criticized for no guts, no glory, conservative play, everybody plays by the book, and these guys pull a fake punt out of their rears and knock me out of the darn suicide
They also
pool.
pulled one of the best a
fake punt reception.
Yeah, they did the
which
old
I can't even understand
catch.
it.
They did
I
the
still
fake
don't
fair
get it.
Catch, and then Trey
He
Mason
did not call for a fair catch.
Well, It was a fake. It was a deke move. It was a misdirect. Triple deke. And then Trey Mason managed just to fumble with 5 or 30 seconds left or something with the game in hand, and they still can't fall on the ball and score.
I think they did, by the way, but
I think they did too. But it's neither here nor there. Anyway, that's enough. That's enough of my.
That was your
ranting.
suicide pool going.
I should have taken Baltimore. I just didn't have the guts.
I think that this game though, the Rams Chiefs, is going to be, low scoring. I think if you got players in that other than Jamal Charles, I don't really know how many other points are going to be scored, and that's still even, I don't like Charles a lot in that game.
This, by the way, is the Battle for Missouri. That's the appropriate name for the game. They should have some sort of...
The Barbecue Cup.
They should have some sort of weird, regional trophy to fight for, but
I think they should just move the arch.
You just figure out which city the arch is in. That's good. I like that. I agree with you. I think Charles could have a big game because the Rams can be run on. But other than Charles, I don't know who else you look to here. I'm off the Brian Quick bandwagon, I can tell you that for
sure. He was a PPR darling for a little bit, and he hasn't. Alston Davis, who's been putting up some pretty solid numbers, by the way.
Not against good defense.
No, I know.
And I would consider Kansas City a good defense.
Last week, I believe at one point he was 17 of 19 for 75 yards, which is just...
Yeah. That's
highly efficient
city.
For 95 yards.
It was maybe even less than that. It was bad.
He was winning the Teddy KGB Chick award for check downs all day long.
Chick.
Kid's got the alligator blood. So the only other person I can really find any interest in this game is Travis Kelce.
And again, another interesting possibility is Trey Mason should technically get the start. Because they're off the Zach Stacy. Everyone's been off that bandwagon. I was never on it.
They're still saying it's going to be a committee back.
I don't buy it. I think they're doing that to try to throw off or politics. But I still think Mason's the most talented guy back there.
That's obvious.
So I have him unfortunately starting because I had to pick him up in leagues where I had Reggie Bush.
Right.
And I also had Pierre Thomas in a league like that. So I had multiple front lines.
I can't wait to get to the New Orleans game, by the way. It's going to be great. Let's make sure we have time for that by going to Houston, Tennessee.
Yep.
That's the sound of points not being scored.
All right, so touchdown Jesus couldn't get it done. So now there's a rookie at the helm.
Yeah.
Everyone loves
Zach
rookies.
Mettenberger.
Yes.
Everybody loves the rookie.
He said it's his team now, which is bold.
It's bold. It's his team now.
He came right out and said it. It's like me saying, I don't know. I'm 6'4" because it's not true.
Yeah, I don't know that this team's anything you'd want to have.
Yeah, it's not an impressive get.
If you're getting, Kendall Wright and Bishop Sankey.
By the way, Sankey got arrested.
Did he really?
He did.
I didn't hear that.
Me either.
I know Sean Green got arrested.
Oh no, that's right,
Yeah,
Sean Green. They're the same person right now, so it doesn't matter.
Sean Green got arrested for what ended up being...
They're equally ineffective
I believe, if I remember correctly, don't hold me to this, it went from being stopped for being in a handicap space to getting arrested.
Yes, which is an awesome way to go.
He ran from the cops for a handicap ticket.
Yes.
Which means I
special.
want to know what else was in the car.
Well, true, yeah.
He just resisted confrontation to the point where they had to arrest him.
Even if it's $1,000 fine, that's still not much money to him.
It's just NFL players being NFL players. But, so, yeah, I guess that means Sankey's got the starting position locked up for a little bit.
For whatever that means.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything.
He really hasn't done much.
No.
I don't know why they drafted the guy because the coach doesn't like him. And I don't know what they were seeing. All these other rookie running backs that were taken after him were doing great things.
Yeah.
And Tennessee doesn't know what they're doing.
Kendall Wright has been a thorn in my side because I drafted him in a bunch of leagues. Can't really ever start him, and then he keeps putting up 60 yards and a touchdown. Just enough to make me feel bad.
Kendall Wright's the guy that you don't start and he burns you, and then when you do start him, he has 2 catches for 10 yards.
He's averaging about 5 catches a game. He's got 32 catches this year.
Yeah.
But who knows if the rookie can get him the ball?
Right, that's the thing. Mettenberger, we have no idea.
Well, the sort of capsule on him in the combine was that he was one of the best physical specimens in the combine.
Yeah.
He just didn't have any starting experience or much of any. He started for 3/4 of a year for LSU or something. So he could be good. Who knows? We could come here next week and be like, Zach Mettenberger, let's go. Well, but I can't chance
here
that.
In the land of complainers in Baltimore, Maryland, there was a lot of talk on the radio this week when he got announced that was like, oh, this guy looks a lot like Joe Flacco, and we really wanted the Ravens to get him as a backup quarterback in case Joe goes down. They said he's just a tall
He's a big
standard
guy with a big arm. Yeah, I mean,
quarterback. Like he doesn't run. He's not expected to do anything but just stand there and throw the ball. So we'll see what happens with him. On the other side of the ball,
Foster.
I mean, you're going with Arian Foster.
Foster's going to have a good game. It's a division game. They know what they're getting into. I like Arian Foster as probably a top 5 running back this week, honestly.
And I think one of the two, I know that's not a good recommendation, but either Andre Johnson or DeAndre Hopkins is going to have a good game. I don't think there's enough room for both of them to, but I think one of them does have a good game.
I think this is a spot where if you're in a 2-quarterback league or if you're desperate, Fitzpatrick's a decent play.
Yeah, it's just such a bad team he's playing against. I mean, you can expect for him to put up some points.
Johnson's actually quietly averaging about 1,000-yard season.
Yeah,
he's going to be around 80 catches and over 1,000 yards, very, very quietly.
Yeah.
It's because he can't find the end zone.
And a lot of the games though, they do start off slow. I mean, we saw that against the Steelers where he was non-existent in the first half. In the second half, he came back with 4 or 5 catches and ended up with I think around 70 yards. I mean, for having nothing in the first half, he still salvaged something out of it.
They're usually playing behind. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, J.J. Watt can't do everything for them.
Right.
Actually, he probably could.
If
they let him.
So let's move on to another game that's actually good.
Minnesota Tampa.
Oh no, that wasn't it.
Well, I mean,
we got to get it out of the way. Yeah.
Jerick McKinnon's an interesting player.
Yeah.
I like Jerick McKinnon quite a bit. He was one of the guys I could have played instead of Joey Bell today. And I'm going to get burned by that. That's going to be really great.
Yeah.
McKinnon is their running back. I know they like to give lip service to Asiata and say, "Oh, well,
that's my running back."
But it's Jerick McKinnon's backfield. I like him to put up some points today and be definitely startable. If you need a boost, if you got to go boom or bust on a guy, go for McKinnon. Tampa doesn't stop anybody.
I'm still waiting for Bridgewater to actually have a decent game because I expect him to at some point, especially mixing it in with his legs a little bit. I mean, he will run, but
excuse me.
Yeah. Otherwise, I don't know who else. There's really not anyone else on the Vikings you can endorse.
No.
So.
Cordero Patterson is in my doghouse still. Yeah. There's nobody else out there. As far as the Tampa running back situation,
ew,
what a mess.
Yeah, no.
If you got to pick one, who do you want at this point, Rainey or Martin?
Neither.
If you had to pick one,
like if you're just gonna keep one, you're not gonna start one today.
Are they
if you're
healthy?
Gonna keep one on your roster. They're both healthy.
Martin, because he at least has, I guess you would call it a pedigree. So I mean, I feel like they still think he's the number one back. Rainey's one of those guys that will have a 140-yard game one every 5 games, but the other games he sucks. So it's like, I still think you take Martin, but I don't think you try to take any of them. I
think Rainey's their starting running back by the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, you could be right. I mean, he's more he's more versatile. Let's put it that way. I mean, he's better at catching the ball.
Well, he'll actually put his head down and run downhill.
That too. So I mean, I don't disagree with that.
Becoming a lost art in this league.
I think for right now, I think they're still. It's a muddy situation. That's all.
Yeah. No. I mean, you don't want any of them right now. I'm just looking for down the line.
Quick interlude here. The Falcons are trying to lose this game.
Yeah, they are.
So it's 21-13 with 12 minutes left in the fourth.
They're trying hard.
There's been 2 field goals and then that aforementioned Golden Tate touchdown. Matt Ryan, after starting with about 160 yards and 2 touchdowns at the half, now just has 193 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception in the fourth quarter. So that game got interesting a little bit. Also, yeah, Matt Ryan fumbled, but Atlanta recovered it. So it's getting ugly there. It's getting ugly there in Wembley. So, all right, what's the next game on the docket?
Next game, Seattle, Carolina.
Weird game.
It is a weird game.
Because Seattle, you expect them at some point to man up and actually win a game. And then Carolina, though, has been putting up points, although they can't get wins, apparently. They keep tying. I'm just kidding. It was only 1 tie.
Honestly, their defense has been a lot worse than we expected this year.
Absolutely.
Who thought there'd be 2 3-3 teams in this game?
Yeah, it's a little weird. I would have definitely expected Carolina to be that, but not Seattle.
Carolina could win their division with 7 wins.
I know. It could be one of those years.
It could be one of those years.
Once before?
Yeah, Seattle did.
Seattle did.
Yeah.
That's when they beat New Orleans on the Marshall or beast mode earthquake creating touchdown run. I like all the Seahawks. I gotta be honest. I think Doug Baldwin's gonna play well. I knew he was gonna play.
Yeah.
With them having no Percy Harvin, Baldwin's kind of been the guy that stepped up last game. Russell Wilson's a real start at this point.
Yeah, I finally gonna tell Jay Cutler to
Yeah, he's gonna ride.
Yeah, you need to you need to bench Jay Cutler in favor of Wilson.
Because I'm tired of having the last 3 weeks Russell Wilson put up 2 40-point games on my bench.
And Wilson I'm not trying to jinx you. Wilson just normally doesn't hurt you. Like Cutler can give you 2 points. Like Wilson will at least give you 10 points. Yeah. Like in some way, shape, or form. But now he's just running everywhere, which is insane.
300 yards passing and 100 rushing.
I know.
And the thing is, that's his second game over 100 rushing yards, and he's yet to really be hit. Because the kid knows how to slide.
He's a smart player.
But he's a really smart if he keeps that up, he's going to be just fantasy gold.
Here's Wilson's line. Almost 1,300 yards passing, 10 touchdowns, 2 picks.
Yep.
327 yards rushing at 8.6 a clip and 3 touchdowns.
Wow.
He has as many rushing touchdowns as Marshawn Lynch at this point. Well, I mean, if you waited on quarterback and got Russell Wilson, you're loving life right now.
You remember, I took Russell Wilson after.
Yeah, you took him after Cutler, which, I mean, hey, more power to you. But, outside of you got Baldwin. What do we think of this tight end? I'm losing his name. He's so random at this point. Oh, what's his name? I'm losing it.
Oh, the guy that caught the highlight catch on the sideline last week. Yeah. I really can't remember his name either, and I'm ashamed. But
it's killing me.
But no,
I think if you're desperate for a tight end, that guy can play.
It's
Helflet.
Helflet.
Connor Helflet.
Maybe it's Helflet.
Yeah, maybe it could be French. As far as Carolina goes, D'Angelo Williams is out again.
Who cares?
I don't think anybody cares about their running back situation because they don't really run the ball that much.
The Panthers mascot could be back there at running back, and I still wouldn't start him.
It's a big target.
Yeah.
Start Kelvin Benjamin, start Greg Olsen.
Yep.
Cam Newton's going to get you, 12, 15 points?
I think he might go for a little more because this is a big game for them. It's at home. I think Newton, it could just be the running quarterback showdown. I mean, there could just be running everywhere.
That would be great. That'd be fun to watch.
It actually really should be a fun game to watch if you have the ability to watch it.
I want to see Cam Newton run through Richard Sherman.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Blow him up.
It would be.
And shut him up. Yeah. If you guys couldn't tell, I'm not a Richard Sherman fan.
Not a Richard Sherman fan, apparently.
I think Newton's a good start. I mean, I'm struggling in one league because I've got, I shouldn't have struggled with it, but I thought that Stafford was going to have a decent game, and I started Stafford over Newton like a moron. So
that kind of hurts.
No, there's still time in that game.
I mean, there is still time in that game. That's the thing. Stafford last week had basically nothing going into the fourth quarter, ended up with 299 and I think 2 touchdowns. Yeah. So he could put up points in a quick span.
So I've got Newton and Tony Romo in a league.
Yeah, that's tough.
I got to start Romo, right?
Well. You don't have
against the
to.
Skins, I would start Romo.
I still would start Romo. He just hasn't, again, because they've been so successful with running the ball. He's been more of a game manager with 1 or 2 big plays a game. And instead of having to be that guy that's throwing from behind and throwing 45 times a game. So for fantasy, it's really hurt me. I have him in a league where I really needed him to come through big. And he hasn't been bad. It's just he's not putting up the points that he used to.
Like you said, being a game manager, he's not going to make you probably not going to make you a whole lot of mistakes.
Yeah, no, he hasn't.
So I would definitely start him over Stafford in this situation.
Over Newton.
Or Newton, I mean.
The thing I'm afraid of is that Seattle wakes up and becomes Seattle again, and Newton throws for 150 yards and no touchdowns, and it's like, great,
right.
Now what do I got?
But it'll be an interesting game. But yeah, other than Benjamin, Newton, and Olsen, I wouldn't touch anyone else on that. And neither defense, because neither defense right now, we have no idea, and both of them are leaning on the side of being way worse than we thought at this point.
Well, they were supposed to be the number 2 and number 3 defenses.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think you dump Seattle's defense.
No, you don't dump them, and in a lot of
and find a roster.
A lot of chances you still have to start them unless you're just streaming chances. But
Carolina just doesn't turn the ball over that much.
Yeah.
So you might just have to suck it up and hope for a big play. Next up is Miami-Jacksonville, the battle for South Florida. Yay.
Florida.
South Florida. Thanks, Key and Peele.
I would expect Jadinklage Morgoon to have a good game in this one.
Ibrahim Moises is going to light it up today. Here is the big suicide pool trap game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised for Jacksonville take this down to the wire, if not win it. I know Miami has had a way better defense, speaking of defenses, than anyone thought.
They're a top 5 defense.
They are. They're playing their hearts out right now. But it's just it is one of those games you just, especially if you're a Miami fan, you're like, this doesn't seem good. It seems like a trap.
Well, Miami's one of these teams that does actually play better on the road. for some ungodly reason.
The defense is playing well. Ryan Tannehill's playing
great.
Well.
Well, it's normally because they're not playing on the surface of the sun.
Yeah, that helps.
But they still are because they're just going down.
They're just going down to Jacksonville.
Yeah, so
it's actually going to get hotter down there. But honestly, the only guy I'm starting in either of these games is I'm starting Miami's kicker, Sturgis, because I think it's going to be a lot of.
You got the Sturgis rally going on your team.
It's going to be a real crapshoot. Yeah.
You like that?
I think it's Sturgis for the rallies.
Yeah, I know.
Just okay. Moving on. But yeah, that's all I'm starting.
I picked up Tannehill in one league where it was either
QB league.
No, I didn't start him. I just picked him up in case, and I was fluctuating between him or Flacco, and I'm still riding with Flacco.
Between the choices, they're both valid options.
They are. Sadly, they are at this point. But
what do you mean sadly? Tannehill's playing well.
I know.
Do we like Lamar Miller?
No.
Logic would say yes, which means it's probably not.
You kind of have to play him because he's going to get all the work because Moreno's out.
Yeah.
And Jacksonville's defense, I mean, everybody's scared of them because they're like the feisty underdog, but they're still Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I think you got to start Lamar.
Everyone's a little gun shy because Jacksonville, not that the Browns are world beaters on offense, but they did completely shut down the Browns last week. So people are like, well, is Jacksonville kind of did they catch something here? Or are they like?
No, I think that's
it's just the Browns. Browns being Browns.
Yes, yeah. They're doing Browns things.
So
the only other guy to talk
Mike
about.
Wallace.
Well, you start Mike Wallace. You got to start Wallace. The only other guy to talk about here is Denard Robinson. He had 100 yards last week, 5 yards a carry.
Nothing like a quarterback turn running back.
Yeah,
it's weird.
I don't like it for this game.
No,
because I think, like we said, Miami's, especially the run defense, is very good. But keep an eye on Robinson.
If you could stash him, it'd be interesting.
Now, here's the number one fantasy stinker of the week. Toby Gerhardt's healthy again, so he's probably just going to mitigate any value that Robinson had with his 3 carries for 4 yards or whatever they're going to give him. So keep an eye on that. Robinson might not be as valuable as everybody thinks if Gerhardt goes out there and gets a decent chunk of the work.
Yeah.
Next up, Bears, Patriots.
This is going to be weird because either the Bears wake up and pull this game out, or they continue to just wallow and suck.
The Bears lose this game, and they're going to have a tough time making the playoffs. For a team with more offensive firepower than pretty much anybody outside of Denver, or Green Bay, or New Orleans.
The Bears lose this game, they're going to have to run the table to get in the playoffs.
They might not have to.
They're going to have to win their divisional games for sure.
Well, the problem is
3-5.
Well, Detroit's helping them out right now by getting beat in London, but theoretically, they lose this game, the division's out of the question.
Yeah.
They're just hoping for a wild card, and even still, they've got to basically run the table. They might not literally have to, but basically.
They're going to need 7 of the last 8.
Yeah, and their schedule does not look good for them at all.
So for fantasy purposes,
what in the world is going on with Alshon Jeffrey and Brandon Marshall?
Is
it Jay Cutler?
It is Cutler.
It's a Cutler issue.
It's Cutler.
It's definitely a Cutler.
And same thing with Martellus Bennett. Like I have him in a league where I have to start him this week because I couldn't grab anyone else really. And I mean, I'm not gonna go out and put Gilmore in over him. It's too much of a talent difference and experience difference.
Why not?
I can't.
How
I
are
can't
you doing
do that.
in that league?
Medium. It's medium.
I was gonna say if you're sucking it up, why not?
Yeah, but it's Cutler's killing everyone. So
if he has another bad game, I'm just gonna go ahead and flat out drop him.
Yeah,
there's other options.
If you have options, but do we think the Patriots? I mean, it's in New England. You think the Patriots wreak havoc on him again?
I'd like to know if Kyle Wilson's playing. I think he is because I haven't seen him on an inactive report, but he was questionable. He left the game last week with an injury. Yeah. The Bears don't really stop anybody.
No.
And the Patriots are pretty good at picking a weak spot and picking on it.
Sorry, I just saw that the fat bastard Vince Wilfork has a pick this year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He had the interception that locked up the Oakland game for them. Yeah. It was a pinball land in your lap interception.
I was kind of hoping he jumped a route.
No, that would be great though. The old zone blitz where he drops back into coverage. Yeah.
So in this game, Vereen, he was sick during the week, but he is playing today. He's active. Coming off of an awesome week that people, I mean, all of us have been waiting for, and unfortunately didn't start in a lot of leagues.
Nope.
But do you think he has even close to a repeat performance against the Bears defense?
He could. I mean, the Bears don't cover running backs out of the backfield that well. Yeah. And they're really just not a very fast defense. They just kind of They do it with smoke and mirrors mainly. The games that the Bears have played good defensively, like San Francisco and some of these other games, it's been just turnovers and wild plays.
I expect him probably to score from about between 6 and 8 yards out, just right in the red zone, little swing pass. And
that's what he did last week. I appreciated it.
That's going to be his bread and butter.
So we're all
especially
taking
against the Bears.
Gronk, good game, obviously.
Yeah.
The thing is, honestly, he hasn't been lighting the world on fire because they've been really hammering him hard in the red zone, and he's just not getting any red zone targets. It sucks, but you have to play him. I'm playing him. You have to. But.
And Brady's back to somewhat relevance. You may have been able to pick. You probably could have picked him up off the waiver wire a couple weeks back.
In some leagues, yeah.
And you could do worse than Brady at this point. He's 2 straight 3 touchdown games.
In this game, you could definitely do worse because I think they've got a better shot to win than
if
the
he has
Bears
a good game
do.
this week, he'll be pacing out a 4,000-yard season, believe it or not.
Yeah.
No, he's putting up numbers. I've been hard on Brady in the past because he killed me last year, but he's got 13 touchdowns and 2 picks.
Right.
1,700 yards. You can't really argue with that against a Bears team that gives up, 248 yards in the air. It's in New England. The only player that you really question what to do with is the running backs other than Vereen. Was it Jonas Gray? I think you'd have to be pretty desperate to start him just because I think Vereen's going to get a lot of work.
It's the way that New England running backs work. You only can really start the main guy, but the other guys are going to play a factor. Right. But they're not enough of a factor that you can start them.
I think Edelman's a very good play here.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, I don't know what you're going to do with Marshall and Jeffrey because you got to play them both, and one of them's going to get stuck with Grievous. So I don't know how that's going to work out. It's probably going to be Marshall because that's usually the way they go. They go with the veteran guy. But
the biggest target.
Well, they're both huge.
Yeah, they are.
The problem with Revis, too, is that some people have gotten around him this year, but when they have, he usually strips them. He still plays the ball.
Revis is still one of the few corners in the league that can make you do different things than what you want to do.
That's the thing. People have gotten, either boxed him out if they're a big receiver, but as soon as they catch it, Revis is on him and usually strips the ball. Yeah. So, it is a tough assignment, and, hopefully they both have decent games, and hopefully Revis isn't tied to one of them specifically. But you never know. It'll play out. But, again, you have to start him.
I think Matt Forte is your best play for Chicago because the Patriots can be run on.
I am starting New England's defense in one league where there wasn't really a better option to stream.
That's not a bad idea because Jay
Cutler
loves to throw picks.
Gives the ball to everyone on the other team.
And they're at home, and they play.
So he completes a lot of passes.
Yeah.
To the wrong jerseys.
Yeah.
He's got 7 picks on the year. It's not good.
That's brutal.
Last 1:00 game is Buffalo and the Jets.
We got to kind of roll on.
Yeah, we're gonna motor through these last couple. Sammy Watkins is nice.
Yeah.
I like Sammy Watkins. I like him a lot.
Of all the rookies, he definitely is. Well, him and Kelvin Benjamin are both.
I've got a league where I have him and Kelvin Benjamin as my starting receivers. Hey. Well, along with Jordy Nelson, because it's the 3 receiver league.
That's working out well for you.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing. It's making up for my horrible running backs. It's making up for the fact that I have Monte Ball on that team.
Yeah.
I love Sammy Watkins against the Jets.
Yeah.
The Jets don't cover anybody. I do not like Anthony Dixon against the Jets.
Whose nickname is
Booby.
Really? I didn't know his nickname was Booby.
It's not just a nickname. In the system, he is in there as Booby Dixon.
I was unaware of this.
I am not shitting
That's
you.
pretty
amazing.
amazing.
You have to bleep that out. But
Booby Dixon.
Booby Dixon.
We're allowed one of those.
So, how excited are we about Bryce Brown, if at all?
I think Bryce Brown could put up great numbers. He's never had a chance to really fully get enough starts in a row to get comfortable, and he does fumble. He has a fumble problem.
For those of you who don't remember Bryce Brown, he's the guy that ruined your fantasy playoffs 2 years ago, I think, when he was on the Eagles and LaShawn McCoy got hurt.
Yeah. He's
got a lot of talent, but Mike's right. He fumbles quite a bit, or at least he did when he was on Philadelphia. Hopefully he's fixed that.
If he comes out today, if he's on the field for 10 snaps and he does fumble, his value's totally gone again. Because they're not.
He could come out for 10 snaps and score 2 touchdowns,
he could.
Although the Jets probably aren't going to allow that to happen.
Detroit just scored.
Did they?
It's 21-19. Wait on the point after.
Is it Joik Bell?
No. It's Theo Riddick.
Oh.
Chronicles of Riddick.
Theo Riddick. Oh, I don't like you at all, Theo
Failed
Riddick.
the 2-point conversion. 21-19 still.
How much time's left in that game right now?
3:56.
Oh.
It's gonna come down to the wire. It's gonna be good.
The Lions are gonna get the ball back and kick a field goal with 5 seconds left and win 22-21.
I don't know. I wouldn't trust their kicker because they've already missed.
That's
10
true.
Field goal attempts this year.
So basically, when you say Theo Riddick scored, you say Joik Bell should have scored.
Yeah, Joik Bell didn't score.
Yeah, Bell did not
that's actually the statement.
All right, we're coming down to the wire. Do we like any Jets? I like Eric Decker. I've got Decker starting in one league.
Yeah, I mean that's the one thing that why can't I think of his name? No, the receiver that they just got from Seattle.
Harvin.
That's one thing that Harvin does is it does take a little. All the attention was on Eric Decker on the passing game before. Yeah. So I mean that definitely could help open him up a little bit. I mean I don't like Percy Harvin to do much.
I wouldn't start Harvin.
I mean,
I'd like to figure out what that faulty offensive game plan is going to do with Percy Harvin.
Yeah.
I have no idea. They could get him the ball 25 times and just overload him, or they could just use him as a decoy.
If they were a team that was good at gadget plays, I'd say, oh, that's a cool fit. Yeah, they botch them all the time.
Not. They screw up gadget
plays.
They
fumble the ball all the time on like direct snaps and like misdirection. It's gonna be a train wreck. But yeah, Decker, and that's pretty much it. I don't really think anyone else.
Chris Ivory's not a bad play, but Buffalo's got a really good rushing defense.
The second best play in this game is actually playing Buffalo's defense.
Yeah.
They've been playing well the last few weeks, and this is a terrible offense they're up against.
Yeah. Buffalo's D should have a nice game.
Harvin doesn't change anything for Buffalo's defense as a fantasy defense.
No, I don't think so.
Real quick, straight up here, Tannehill or Cutler?
Tannehill.
That's what I'm thinking too. Is between those two.
Yeah.
The upside is on Tannehill.
I never thought I'd say it, but take Tannehill.
Yeah.
Because if you're, and I think you take him for two in either way. If you take him because you got to get some guaranteed points, you still take Tannehill. If you got to go for the big play, you still take Tannehill because he's playing Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So I think you take Tannehill for sure. Next one's Philly and Arizona. This is, for anybody that plays in like a daily league, this is the game everyone needs to focus on because there's going to be a million plays running this game.
Mm-hmm.
Philly's just going to try and run a million plays, and Arizona has a great defense, but they're going to have to score too. So I like everybody in this game outside of like a Riley Cooper or, I don't think this is a Jordan Matthews game, stuff like that. But if you've got
Macklin,
if you got
Ellington,
if you got Ellington, if you got Michael Floyd,
Carson Palmer, Nick Foles.
I got the Arizona defense starting in a bunch of leagues because I think even if they give up a bunch of points, they could still get some turnovers from Foles. This is going to be a big fantasy game. I have to believe that.
I had someone ask me Newton or Foles.
Wow.
Yeah, that's tough.
Wow, I don't even know how to answer that. I think you got to start Newton.
I mean, he seems to have the higher upside because of his legs.
Well, let me take a look at
it is against a defense that we still assume isn't a complete dumpster pile at this point.
No, I take that back. I take Foles. Yeah. Take Foles as a volume play because Arizona gives up 73 yards rushing a game.
Yeah,
which means do you bench LaShawn McCoy?
No, you can't.
The sad part is, what has he done for you this year?
I've heard people say to bench LaShawn McCoy.
Really?
Depending on who you have. But if you have hypothetically, if you have if you had Hillman on Thursday night and you have Arian Foster, McCoy would be the odd man out.
Yeah, I could see that. It's just a lot of times when you have McCoy, you're not gonna.
The problem is at some point he's gonna go for like 3 touchdowns and 150 yards, and you better hope he's in your lineup when it happens.
Right.
But there's not much else to say about this game. What do you guys think? I mean, I think it's gonna be a high scoring game. Oakland Cleveland's next. This is the opposite of that game.
Oh, yeah.
Tate. And this might be a game where you play Darren McFadden, although I'm hearing that MJD could get more work.
Of course.
Yeah.
After McFadden has a touchdown. I mean, we're still on the fence, obviously, even against a poor opponent about Derek Carr. He's looked great in certain games, but it's just...
Cleveland plays better at home, and I don't think they're that bad on defense. I think their offense is horrible, but...
That also... Lock.
The Manziel...
He be the guy.
Jacksonville's bad enough, though, where you really shouldn't allow them to have a first down.
Yes.
I mean, they're that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, Hoyer's got 7 touchdowns and 2 picks. If he loses the starting job, it's going to be a shame. It's only going to be because they're losing games not because of his performance. And I'm with you. I don't think it was necessarily his fault.
I think it would be different too if Josh Gordon has been there all year.
Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, massively different.
Yeah,
one player's going to make a huge because the only target he's got to throw to is Jordan.
Now Hoyer's getting a raw deal.
And let's bring that up real quick for the people that have stashed Gordon. No pun intended there with the stash. Got him. When is he back again? Is it 10 or 12?
Week 11.
It's week 11.
He's suspended for the first
10 games, so he's 10 weeks
games,
or
10 games. It is 10 games.
So he's back on week 11. Okay, because that's a lot of people because that's coming into the playoff stretch run. So that's a guy where if you were lucky enough to grab him and have the foresight, and you're in one of the top seeds, maybe even getting a bye or something, you're just adding to your chances. But if you're one of those mid teams fighting for a playoff spot, that could definitely be a big difference.
Yeah.
So
the thing is also, do you really want to trust him the first week he's available to play to come in with maybe Manziel at the helm and he hasn't played
it's true.
in 4 months?
That's the luxury though, is you've got 2 weeks before a lot of the fantasy playoffs start in most leagues to see where he's at. So he's still someone. If somehow your league has him in the waiver wire, no one's picked him up, you better go get him and just stash him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's way better than having Eddie Royal or.
I don't think those leagues exist. I think somebody's
you'd be
got
surprised.
Gordon.
My 6-man, my 16
6-man, your 6-pack.
That's 16. Honestly, I picked him up and then dropped him right away. I was like, I don't need him.
It's 6.
I have no point for him at all.
All right, we got 3 games left. Colts, Steelers. Andrew Luck's gonna have a gigantic game.
I hope so, and yes.
Andrew Luck's gonna have a massive game. I think this is one of these games where Pittsburgh just doesn't look all that great. I think it's gonna be Le'Veon Bell with a bunch of yards, maybe a touchdown. Antonio Brown's gonna get his.
Yep.
But I don't know that anybody else does anything, and I don't think they're gonna score a ton of points. If they're gonna win this game, it's gonna have to be 17-13, something like that.
Their defense is going to have to show up.
Their defense isn't going to hold down the Colts.
Here's a fun fact. For every touchdown Andrew Luck throws, an extra quarter inch of neck beard goes down towards his chest.
That's amazing.
So by the end of the season, it's just going to connect.
It's going to look like Rip Van Winkle.
Yeah, it'll just straight up connect through.
So it's going to be Teen Wolf.
Yeah.
He's got 2,300 yards and 19 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
The Colts, he's putting up filthy numbers.
Because of that, partially at least, the Colts only give up less than 100 yards rushing per game.
Yeah.
But you have to start Le'Veon Bell.
No,
believe it or not, he's got 7 picks though.
Yeah, he does. He's tied for the league lead in picks.
He does spread the ball around. But you take it in both real football and in fantasy.
Yeah.
You still take that all day long.
If you're in a keeper league, you can make the argument that Andrew Luck's the number 1 player on the board.
I'll say he's also got 2 rushing touchdowns. So already in 7 games, he's got 21 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
3 a game, averaging 3 a game. You'll take that all day.
That's guaranteed 18 points. If he throws for 0 yards, he's got 18 points.
Right.
Yep.
No, you're right. Even in non-keeper leagues, he's still arguably one of the best players.
Yeah, we have to see what happens, but you could make him a back-end first-round pick next year. Especially after every running back is falling apart.
If Peyton Manning doesn't play, he'll be the first quarterback taken.
Probably.
Next
year.
Yeah, probably. I mean, this is looking way ahead. I can't see myself taking a running back next year in the first round.
I didn't want to do it this year.
It's the first time I've ever said it, but there's so much inconsistency and just garbage.
Look at the consensus first-round pick running backs that came out this year.
And none of them have done anything.
Nope. Forte is starting to pick it up.
We're running short on time.
DeMarco Murray's the only one.
He was more of a second round.
He was a second-round pick.
Yeah.
The second-round running backs have done great. Le'Veon Bell, Murray, Foster.
Yeah.
Those guys. But the first-round guys have done nothing.
So he dropped to the second round in some leagues.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Green Bay, New Orleans.
Does New Orleans finally get off the schneid and put up a boatload of points?
First of all, here comes to our lay it on the lines from last week. We were both wrong. Brees had a great game.
Yeah.
Brees had a great game.
I won't ever talk poorly about Drew Brees again. That was just
Cam Newton
dumb.
And my boy Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, that was a bad move on my part.
For the noodle arm, Colt McCoy. We'll get to that though.
I think the Saints get off the schneid because they're at home and they're on national TV and they love that stuff.
All right.
And Green Bay doesn't have that good a defense, honestly.
So all the running backs, Mark Ingram's back in for New Orleans.
Yeah.
It's underwhelming. I know. I have to start him in one league. I had Pierre Thomas, but I was able to get Ingram. What about Travaris Cadet? This is a guy that's going to ruin people's days.
Travaris Cadet's an interesting case because he's going to get the Pierre Thomas work because Thomas is out. I think Kyrie Robinson might not play.
He's out as well.
Is he out or is he injured? I know he's been injured, but they haven't declared him out. Let's put it this way. Traveris Cadet's going to get a lot more run than you think he will. Yeah. He could definitely be touchdown vulture guy and end up jamming up Mark Ingram owners and Brandon Cook owners and Marcus Colston owners. Jimmy Graham apparently is going to play. We don't know that for 100% sure because it's the night game. If you got Jimmy Graham and he's going to play, you pretty much have to play him, even though last year it was a big bust for everybody. But you don't want to be the guy that gets stuck with him on Sunday night scoring 2 touchdowns and 100 yards, and you're not.
You look like a donkey. Yeah, Kerry Robinson is out.
Okay. So yeah. So Traveris Cadet might be the second best.
Yeah.
Fantasy non.
And in PPR, he could end up. Anyway,
if you're desperate for somebody, go grab the guy. He might be a decent play.
On the other side of the ball, Jordy Robinson.
Robinson.
I love Jordy Robinson.
Jordy Robinson's amazing. Jordy Nelson is a monster.
Yeah.
Like, there's no other way to put it. The guy had 80 yards and a touchdown in the first quarter last week, and then they just cruised. Yeah. It was just like, oh, well, we're good.
Both he and Cobb are every week starters.
Absolutely. You got to start Cobb, you got to start Nelson. Eddie Lacy's starting to lose some carries.
A little bit.
To James Starks.
Yep.
I still like Eddie Lacy a lot.
I do too. James Starks might as well be John Starks out there. I don't buy into him.
I don't know why that made me laugh so much, but it did.
Because you're picturing it with Spike Lee on the sidelines.
I like a John Starks reference every once in a while. The one guy that I found interesting that I'm incredibly desperate in one league, and I took Devontae Adams.
Oh, I was going to bring him up. Is it 2 straight weeks he scored?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Don't hold me to it. If you're in a PPR league, he's actually, he's not getting as many targets as the other receivers, but if they get into the 30s in this game, you could see him have an impact.
Yeah. Can Aaron Rodgers get at least 300 yards this game to go with his 3 touchdowns? Because they keep getting ahead, and he throws for like $190.
I really can't see that happening. I don't see them jumping out to a lead and just milking it like they did against Carolina. I think he's going to have to throw the whole game.
Right.
They're going to have to go up and down with New Orleans.
I mean, I'm not going to argue with 3 touchdowns all the time, but still, it is a little underwhelming. Like, if you took Rodgers, I got him in an auction league. That's the one league I have him in. I paid like $40 for him, which isn't out of the norm in that sort of format. But I was expecting. I mean, he's getting like 19 to 22 points a week. It's like, okay, that's fine. But I was thinking more like 30. It's what he used to do.
Bastard. He has 18 touchdowns and 1 pick. What are you complaining about?
What's his yards like?
1674.
Yeah. All right,
the New Orleans Saints give up 270.
He's awesome, I know.
The New Orleans Saints give up 270 yards passing a game, by the way.
That's what I want to hear. Give me some yards.
Don't
Give me
worry
some
about
yards.
I think
honestly, I hope he throws for 90 yards but 5 TDs just to shut you up.
I'll take it.
I hope he has a Roethlisbergian 150 yards and 4 touchdowns. That would be fantastic. Last game of the week. Your boys are going to get steamrolled on Monday night. I don't know how to tell you this, but it's going to be bad.
I'm going to watch it just because I want to see if national television will air a live snuff film, because it's going to be that bad.
Nicolas Cage reference, 8mm. I like it.
It's going to be terrible.
It's going to be bad. It's going to be real bad. If Washington covers, it will blow my mind. Like, it could happen because weird stuff happens all the time.
I'm projecting a 38-10 loss.
It's just,
that's how I see it.
They're in the Jerry Dome. They're facing the Redskins, who haven't played well yet this season. You might see Robert Griffin III in this game, which is just hilarious.
He is technically listed as questionable, but I don't know if he'll even suit up.
But what other team other than the Redskins would take a chance and start RG3 at this point? They're the one team that would be like, you know what, we're on national TV. Let's pull out RG3 in his halfway detached angle.
Yeah, it's like, he'll put butts in the seats, and then all of a sudden they'll snap his knee off completely on live television.
I mean, it's not the right move. No, Colt McCoy's the right move.
Well, the thing is, though,
when did that ever happen?
Colt McCoy is going to be the starter this week, and if that is the case, you do not play Deshaun Jackson. You sit his butt, and you do not even go
because he has a noodle arm.
Because he can't throw it more than 30 yards.
By the way, the last time someone said Colt McCoy is the right decision, it was at 7-Eleven, and they were promoting him to assistant manager. So that was the last time that anyone ever said that. It's the right move. He's been working his butt off.
It's the right move. Does a lot of graveyard shifts. He's earned it.
Yeah, it's going to be pathetic, but I do think that Garcon will actually get more
I was just about to ask. I was like, please let Garcon have a good game.
Well, because look at what happened the first play of the second half last week. He comes and hits Garcon for a 15-yard pass, and then Garcon just
I was gonna say it wasn't a
yards
bomb.
to the house.
You're looking at garbage time points for Pierre Garcon.
Honestly, I look at him being McCoy's security blanket all day. Yeah. He is going to. My hope is, but I think he's going to get 13 or 14 targets today.
If you're ever going to bench Alfred Morris, this is the game to do it. Because if they get down 14 in the first quarter, you're never going to see him on the field.
You're going to see
Roy Halou the whole game.
Which sucks because I think Morris is the better runner, but Halou's the better blocker and better pass catcher.
Also, this is the game I feel could be one of the deciding factors whether Gavin Escobar is a real option or not in fantasy. Because he doesn't get a lot of total looks. Witten's still the chain mover, but he is the red zone guy, and he made some incredible catches last week. Like, does have talent.
Which is a bummer for everybody.
It is, especially if you had Witten. I'm just saying, if he gets another touchdown again in the red zone or two, you're going to have to start putting him on the radar because,
Now, here's the other sort of second-level question about this game. If they get out to an early lead, is this where they make up some carries for DeMarco Murray? Murray's on pace for like 1 million carries at this point.
Oh, you're saying if you have Murray and they get up early, are they going to bench him?
Is he going to end up with 60 yards, no touchdowns, and sitting at halftime?
I think it would have to be literally a 30-point lead before they do that because it's a rivalry game.
You also got to remember, it's also Jerry Jones who will call down to the field and tell them what to do because he wants to see DeMarco Murray go 100 yards every single game.
That's a good point. And it's at home and it's on TV.
He's already got the record.
They will do dumb things and they will play guys too long.
He wants the press. Right. He wants the Cowboys. He wants DeMarco Murray to go their first 8 games as 100-yard rusher.
You're absolutely right. And it's not.
And he'll give him the ball 45 times if it takes it.
And it's really a moot point because it's not like you're going to bench Murray anyway. So
no, absolutely not. But also there is that chance that after in the second half, he might be sitting there with his helmet off and a nice, cool glass of lemonade.
Over under Des Bryant yards 148.
Over.
You think
no one on Washington can cover him? There's nobody on that team that can cover him.
And then are we thinking both? First off, we're thinking Romo does have this game that we all want him to have so far this season, like 300+ yards, 3 touchdowns.
I really don't see it. Honestly.
I don't think he's going to throw for a bunch of yards, but I think he can get 3 or 4 touchdowns. I
still think it's going to be the DeMarco Murray show. If he's going to get, it's.
Let's look at this. I'm trying to figure out where the Redskins are least competent.
Everywhere.
That's
the front office answer. Really is
breathing.
The front office is really where they're the least competent.
They're a better run defense than a pass defense.
It doesn't matter.
But
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Romo's got 14 touchdowns and 6 picks. He's got 1,800 yards. The guy's not a bad fantasy quarterback.
No, he's not bad. It's just in the past he was approaching that upper tier because he was getting.
Well, he was a volume play.
Exactly.
I remember last year when they played the Eagles. Foles throws up 7 TDs and Romo throws up 6 or 5 or something like. It was unreal.
Right.
He can do it. It's
I'll go to war with Tony Romo this week.
Yeah.
The thing is, you're talking about Des Bryant. I'm looking at Terrence Williams this week.
I was just gonna say they should both go over 100 yards.
I wouldn't. I'd be surprised if they didn't. Because they are.
I guess. Williams only has 19 catches on the year.
Yeah.
But he's come on strong in the last 2 weeks.
Oh, he's a good receiver.
And he can make those long to the sideline plays like he's been doing so far. Like, the.
Now, the converse of the Murray conversation. Do we think when they're up by 30, they still keep the first-team receivers in and just throw it on Washington still?
Because it's Jerry Jones.
I still think they do.
Absolutely. No, it's the biggest rivalry.
Because he is a heartless creep.
It's the biggest rivalry in football history. Jerry Jones wants to win this game 100-0. And
you're right.
And he'll sacrifice.
You're absolutely right.
He'll sacrifice somebody to do so.
Which just inevitably, it's going to be 14-10.
Yeah,
the fact that we're talking,
would be hilarious if it
honestly, right now, if the Redskins win this game, I'm done with
it. It would pretty much make their season if they won the game because they're not going to make the playoffs. This would be the most positive thing that they've done all year until they bring RG3 back and break him in half. As we're heading out the door here, the Falcons are trying to lose this thing. It's 24 seconds left. Detroit has the ball.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Where are they at now?
I think they're in field goal
They're
range.
at the Atlanta 30.
They're at the Atlanta 30.
So they are setting up for.
Yeah, but do they have faith in Matt Prater?
I mean,
it's not going to matter.
Made 2 field goals already
today.
Kick.
He's going to have to make a kick here. I hope the winds are swirling in London town.
Stafford did come through for 325 with 2 TDs and a pick, so that's a serviceable game.
He came on at the end, didn't he? Jeez, it was. All right.
Yeah, Golden Tate still is reaping the benefits of Megatron being out. 7 catches for 151.
And a TD.
And, of course, Julio Jones is still invisible.
He's a turd bucket.
Roddy White had 5 catches for 66 yards.
Julio, 4 for 58. That is horrible.
Yep.
All right, folks. Well, we're nearing the end of our time here. Just want to say a quick shout out to all the folks running the Marine Corps Marathon. My wife is there. Hi, honey. I know you don't see this because you're running currently, but hope everybody makes through it without keeling over, and go Marine Corps Marathon runners.
MCM, which isn't Man Crush Monday.
No, it isn't. It's not at all.
Marine Corps Marathon. Hashtag.
Hashtag MCM. All right, guys. Well, have a good week. Everybody enjoy the games. And we will see you next week for the Fantasy Football Dojo. I'm Mark.
Good day.
We're done.